If you'll click OK. And Ms. Dixon, we should be good to go. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you all for joining us today for the District Library Book Objection Committee meeting. Our purpose is to review an objection to the book titled, There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. I am Kim Dixon, Instructional Resources and Media Services Director for St. John's County Schools. Mrs. Sapp, whom Mr. Forson designated as chair of this committee, is unavailable today. Therefore, I've been appointed to facilitate today's meeting. School-based and district staff, as well as parent and community volunteers, are invited to participate on each committee. Today's meeting will result in a recommendation that will be forwarded to Mr. Forson, St. John's County School District Superintendent. This committee meeting is public record and therefore subject to sunshine law. This being live streamed for public viewing. Committee members are not required to have their camera on during this meeting. We are committed to civility and decorum. Please assist us in maintaining a constructive meeting environment by remaining respectful of each participant during the meeting and afterwards. Additional discussion of the objecting party or committee members outside of the meeting is discouraged. Disparaging comments are contrary to district expectations regarding character and civility. Committee members received several resources in advance of this meeting. The resources included the objecting party's request for reconsideration, a copy of the book in question, Florida statutes, Florida Department of Education guidance for library media services, professional source reviews, St. John's County School Board rules, the Library Bill of Rights, and the School Library Media Material Evaluation Checklist. The process for today is as follows. First, the objecting party will have the opportunity to address the committee. They will provide any information they deem compelling or new regarding their request. Next, the committee will have a discussion utilizing the School Library Media Material Evaluation Checklist. Finally, the decision by majority vote will determine a recommendation for Superintendent Forson. Possible recommendations can range from 1, retain the book with its current availability, 2, retain the book with grade level restrictions, 3, require parent permission, or 4, remove the book from St. John's County School District libraries. For our meeting today, both agreeable and opposing viewpoints are welcome. Are there any questions? Okay. No questions, so let us begin. Jean Moore is the objecting party. Ms. Moore, this is your time to address the committee. You have up to 5 minutes to share your objection. Turning it over.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to share my thoughts on There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. Objectionable content includes excessive profanity, sexual activities, hazing, alcohol use by minors, and explicit, graphic, bloody violence. I've been grappling with the idea that our school district is okay with books that contain graphic adult content and excessive profanity. I've done some research on the topic and came across this article from a page called Writers on the Move. It's a blog for experienced authors, writers, and marketers that are in the industry. It is about 20 years old, and it's called How Much is Too Much in Young Adult Books, and is written by an anonymous member. And I quote, "Who doesn't swear or cuss on occasion, right? It's part of our culture. Everyone does it, increasingly so and harsher as we go along. Swearing has increased in movies, television shows, but especially in books. When I was a teen reading Lord of the Rings or anything written by Ray Bradbury, there wasn't a single cuss word anywhere. Teens then were cussing up a storm when gathered in groups and such, but it wasn't in our literature nearly to the extent it is today. This begs the question, is all that cussing really necessary?" Sarah Coyne, professor of family life at Brigham Young University, analyzed the use of profanity in 40 young adult books on the bestseller list. 35 of them had at least one swear word. On the average, there were 38 instances of cussing, with one book containing nearly 500 uses of foul language. The book in question today has over 100 expletives. Is that really necessary to become a bestseller with teens? The argument is that the author is reaching for authenticity and grit, but there are plenty of books with grit and reality that don't make us feel like we need a shower to rinse off the stench after reading them. Look at the Hunger Games series. How could a story get any grittier or more realistic? How much cussing did you hear from Katniss or Peeta? During the final battle with Lord Voldemort, did Harry Potter let loose a stream of expletives? In my humble opinion, cussing is a cheap way out of finding a creative way to express oneself, and it cheapens the book as well. And what does that say to preteens who are forming their ideas of who they are and who they will become as adults? Everyone knows kids who read tend to do so about 3 to 5 years above their age level. I've seen fourth graders reading the Twilight series. None of my children would have ever read something like that at age 9, but I saw it when I was teaching. And the kids who were allowed to read materials years ahead of their maturational level refused to read age-appropriate, excellent literature, thereby missing out of a whole world of good books. The problem with today's young adult books is that the reader doesn't know what they're getting into until they're deep in the mire. This goes for swearing, sex, and violence. Ever try to stop a teen from enjoying something that contains sex, foul language, or gore? Of course, an allowance is made for the genre bridging the innocence of middle grade books and adult level reading. But how much is too much? How do we protect the sanctity of innocence until a young adult is ready to become adult if what they are reading reveals all? As an author of picture books brought up through young adult, I feel the need to protect my young readers from what they're seeing in movies and television, hearing in the lyrics of their music, and experiencing while playing their video games. Teens aren't allowed to remain innocent and naive anymore, and I think it's a shame on our culture. End of quote. I couldn't agree more. And this book touches all of the bases mentioned. When did it become expected and accepted to call this kind of thing age appropriate and acceptable in schools? Have you ever heard someone say the book is so much better than the movie? That's because words paint pictures in our minds, powerful, vivid pictures, and they stay with us. Imagery shapes how we think, learn, and remember, and it's especially influential for the developing minds of young people. Why does this matter? The words in a book are more than just ink on a page. They spark imagination and understanding, and they can leave a lasting impression, both good and bad. This is especially true when it comes to sexual and violent imagery. Descriptions planted in a young mind can last a lifetime. Our school district needs to do better for students and parents. Instead of just going with the flow of what the world is saying is appropriate, how about formulate a specific rubric for our county that represents what is supposed to be one of the best districts in the state? Graphic sex, violence, and profanity does not present as stellar offerings for students. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. We will now begin our discussion. Committee members, please refer to the school library media material evaluation form you received for this discussion. As a reminder, the statute states that any materials used in a classroom, made available in a school or classroom library, or included on a reading list may be objected to for 4 specific reasons. 1, the material is pornographic or prohibited under Florida statute section 847.012. Reason number 1 is unique in that if the majority of the committee determines that the material is pornographic or prohibited, the recommendation should be to remove the material from St. Johns County School District libraries. For the remaining 3 reasons, the committee will determine if there is an appropriate grade level for the material or the material should be removed. Those reasons are 2, the material depicts or describes sexual conduct as defined in statute 847.001, unless such material is for a course required by state statute 1003.46, 1003.42, N1.G. or 1003.42, N3, or identified by school board rule. 3, the material is not suited to the student needs and their ability to comprehend the material. Or 4, the material is inappropriate for the grade level and age group for which it is used. Keep in mind that our final task today is to make a recommendation to Superintendent Forsen. There are 4 possible recommendations. 1, retain the book with its current availability. 2, retain the book with grade level restrictions. 3, require parent permission. Or finally, 4, remove the book from St. Johns County School District libraries. During this meeting, I will open the floor for discussion, and each committee member will have the opportunity to share. Comments will be summarized to provide an overall committee response for each question. Please remember to raise your hand to provide a comment. Once acknowledged, you may unmute your microphone and share your thoughts with the group. Again, for our meeting today, both agreeable and opposing viewpoints are welcome. Our discussion begins with the first items on the review form you received. I would like to offer a brief explanation of these first 3 items for the group and our online viewers. Question 1 requires the reason cited by the objecting party. Ms. Burball, could you please share the response to question number 1?
Yes.
The objecting party's challenge of the material cites that the material is inappropriate for the grade level and age group for which it is used.
Thank you, Ms. Verba. Questions 2 and 3 identify the level of engagement by the committee with the material under review. Committee members, please prepare to utilize your voting buttons to answer the following questions. Question number 2. Did you review the specific pages in the material cited by the objecting party? Please use the green check mark if you reviewed the specific pages cited by the objecting party. If you did not review the material, please submit the red X.
Waiting on one more vote. Thank you. Ms. Dixon, our vote for question 2 is, 8 yes votes and 0 no votes.
Thank you, Dr. Lawson. If you'll give me just a second, I am going to switch my mic. I understand that someone may be having trouble hearing. I'm going to try and switch the mic to see if you have better sound. Let's see. Hello, testing, testing. Allison, if you could give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down if this is better. No?
It sounds about the same to me, Miss Dixon. I know Miss Walsh was the one who was having trouble hearing.
Okay, let's try this one. Is this mic better?
Again, they all sound about the same to us.
Ms. Walsh, are you able to hear her better on that mic?
Yeah, we are. We can hear a little bit better.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can hear you all very loud and clear, but I couldn't hear Kim as much. But
Okay.
this one does sound better. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Everyone, you may clear your vote at this time.
I will speak a little bit louder just in case this helps. Thank you. Okay, question number.
Just need, Ms. Dixon, I'm sorry, we just need everyone to clear their vote.
Still waiting on one vote to be cleared.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to remove the.
Just click
Gotcha.
back on, click on the same spot that you clicked. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, you received professional or crowdsourced reviews as a part of the resources provided for this meeting. For question number 3, did you consider these or any other professional and or crowdsourced reviews when evaluating this material? Please use the green check mark if you considered review resources when evaluating the materials in this objection. If you did not consider the review resources, please submit the red X.
Ms. Dixon, that's 8 yes votes for question number 3.
Thank
You may now clear your vote. Need one more vote cleared? Thank you.
Thank you. For questions 4 through 7, I will read each question and open the floor for comments prior to calling for the vote. If you have a comment, please raise your hand. Question 4. Is the material pornographic or prohibited under Florida Statute 847.012? Are there any comments regarding this question? Seeing no hands, I will call for the vote. Do you believe this material is pornographic or prohibited under Florida Statute 847.012? Please use your voting buttons, green for yes or red for no.
Can you repeat the question? Sorry. Just want to make sure I want to make sure I heard it phrased.
Pornographic or prohibited under Florida statute 847.012. It is question number 4 on your evaluation form.
Ms. Dixon, for question number 4, we have 8 no votes. You may now clear your vote. Just need one more vote to get cleared. Thank you.
Question 5. Does the material depict or describe sexual conduct defined in Florida statute 847.001, parent 9? Note, this does not apply to material required by Florida statute 1003.46, 1003.42, parent 9, parent N 1.g. or 1003.42, parent 2, parent N 3. Or identified by State Board of Education rule. Does the material depict or describe sexual conduct defined in Florida statute 847.001, parent 9? Are there any comments regarding this question? Seeing no hands, I will call for the vote. Do you believe the material depicts or describes sexual conduct defined in Florida statute 847.001, parent 19? Please use your voting buttons, green for yes or red for no.
Ms. Dixon, for question number 5, we have 2 yes votes and 6 no votes. You may now clear your vote.
Thank you. So for the next 2 questions, you will answer based on the grade level that the book is currently available for in our schools. Ms. Zakowski, which grades have access to this book?
Currently, one middle school has it in their 8th grade and up section, and it is available at 6 high schools in our collections for libraries.
Thank you, Ms. Zakowski. Our next 2 questions are written in the negative, so I will explain response expectations. Question number 6 says, is the material unsuited to the needs of students in grades 8 through 12, where this book is currently available in our schools, and their ability to comprehend the materials presented? Specifically, if you feel students in grades 8 through 12 should not have access to this material, please use the green check mark. If you feel students in grades 8 through 12 should have access to the material, please submit the red X. Are there any comments regarding this question? Seeing no hands, I'll call for the vote. Looks like we've started to vote already.
Ms. Dixon, for question 6, we have 8 no votes. You may now remove your vote. You may now remove your vote. Thank you.
Again, question number 7 is also written in the negative. Is the material inappropriate for the grade level and age group for which the material is used? Specifically, if you feel this material is not appropriate for students in grades 8 through 12, please use the green check mark. If you feel the material is appropriate for students in grades 8 through 12, please submit the red X. Is the material inappropriate for the grade level and age group for which the material is used. Are there any comments regarding this question? Seeing no hands, I will call for the vote. Do you believe this material is inappropriate for the grade level and age group for which it is used?
Ms. Dixon, for question number 7, we have 8 no votes. You may now remove your vote. You may now remove your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lawson. Committee, our final discussion expectation is to make a recommendation to Superintendent Forson. Again, there are 4 possible recommendations. 1, retain the book with its current availability. 2, retain the book with grade level restrictions. 3, require parent permission. Or finally, remove the book from St. Johns County School District Library. I will now open the floor for anyone to offer a recommendation to Mr. Forson. We will then vote on that recommendation. Please raise your hand if you'd like to offer a recommendation for this book. There's Someone in Your House by Jennifer Perkins.
We have Amanda, go ahead.
Hi, yes, I'd like to recommend that we retain the book as it is currently. The first recommendation, as Ms. Dixon stated.
Thank you, Ms. Amanda. So the recommendation on the floor is to retain the book with its current availability. Is there any discussion or any comments or questions regarding this recommendation? Okay. Seeing no hands, I will now open the floor for a vote. If you agree that this book should be retained with its current availability, please use the green check mark for the affirmative or the red X for no.
Just waiting on one more vote. Ms. Dixon, for the recommendation of keep the book with the current availability, grades 8 and up, we have 7 yes votes and 1 no vote. You may now remove your vote. Sorry.
Thank you, Dr. Lawson. We determined that the recommendation to Mr. Forson should be to retain the book with its current availability. There are 2 final action steps to conclude our work today. The first is your acknowledgement as a participant on the committee, which is needed on the recommendation form to Mr. Forson. The recommendation will include notes from today's discussion, and all of these notes will be emailed to you. You may acknowledge participation by responding with an email, or you may review and sign the document at our Media Services office located at 3015 Lewis Speedway here in St. Augustine. The office is in the northern parking area for Sebastian Middle School. The second thing to conclude our meeting today is for you to return your book and any notes from your work to prepare for the meeting to the location where you picked up your book or here at our office at 3015 Lewis Speedway. Mr. Forson will communicate his decision to the objecting party, and the website will be updated in approximately 15 days. You may check the website to see the final resolution. Again, I'd like to say thank you so much for participating in this process. We really value your input and your participation. Before we leave, are there any questions? Any final comments? Seeing none, this concludes the meeting. Thanks so much and have a great week.